The Colonials, first introduced in C.M. Kosemen's book All Tomorrows, are a future human species and descendants of the Star People. On one colonized world, far from Earth in deep space, the Q swarmed across the planet trying to take it over so that they may perform horrific genetic modifications on its inhabitants. The Star People of this world, unlike those of other worlds, had managed to hold their ground and turn away 2 successive waves of invasion. These repulsive insect-like aliens weren't going to give up, however, and eventually the Star People were overwhelmed. Upon the 3rd wave of invasion, the Q had successfully penetrated the Star People's defences, and they began to seep in and take hold of their newly conquered planet and its people. The Q were deeply offended at the Star People's resistance, and the fact that it had taken 3 attempts to subdue them was an outrage. The Q were gods, and to go up against the gods was a crime that could not go unpunished. While the Star People on other worlds had been changed into strange animals and had had their sapience taken away from them, it was nothing compared to what would soon happen to the people of this world. It was decided by the Q that these people must suffer horribly for their crimes. They were modified genetically into what is perhaps the most horrific form that we're presented with in the entire story. The Colonials, former humans, were now merely living sheets of human flesh. Their entire form was comprised of skin, muscle, eyes, and reproductive organs. They had an extremely basic network of nerves, just enough to keep them alive and in agony. They were able to reproduce in the traditional way, as well as asexually. They had eyes so that they could see their wretched existence, and they had full consciousness so that they could comprehend it. They would all live together, fused to one another, unable to move or change anything about their existence. They had no mouths with which to scream. But this was not all that their new lives consisted of. If they were to merely be forced to stay in one place for eternity, cursed to be forever stationary and to have nothing to do but think, this may have become somewhat bearable with time. But no, there was more to their punishment. They would also be forced to act as a sewage filtering system for the Q society, which had now taken over their planet. They would spend their entire lives doing nothing but eating and absorbing Q feces. While the Colonials didn't have mouths, the Q had absolute torture in mind when they designed them to be living sewage processors. It can then be theorized that within their skin, which absorbed the waste, they would likely have also had their taste buds retained, and perhaps the sensitivity of their taste buds was amplified as well. They would spend an agonizing 40 million years living like this, until the Q eventually up and left the planet. When the Q left, the Colonials had hoped that they would quickly die off, now that there was no Q waste to sustain them. However, they didn't go extinct, and theirs eventually became a nightmare world, completely blanketed in living, conscious flesh. They lived like this for several more millions of years, eventually evolving to regain their mobility and becoming the modular people. But before they managed this, theirs truly was a long and hellish existence. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to be notified of future uploads, and also don't forget to check out the merch store. The link can be found in the description. This has been Beware the Q, and I'd like to wish you a happy Halloween. See you again soon.